Hey everyone, this is Daniel, and in today's video we're going to talk about power FX, imperative versus declarative. Now I'm going to start off by just understanding what these two terminologies mean, and we'll look at it from a non-technical standpoint just so that it sinks into our brains. Once it does, we'll look at it from the power apps, specifically the power FX standpoint, and see how that kind of starts to make sense. And then I'll also look at it from the actual code example, which is the expression, because there's a new change that has come in the Power Apps OnStart, and that was done to help us start in this journey of starting to think of it from a declarative standpoint. So we'll look at that as well. So that's the plan. Stick around. But first, here's my intro video. So let's get started. Now, imperative and declarative can actually be sometimes considered as two opposite things, but we'll look at some examples and then we'll make the decision in the end. Declarative is to declare something, and the actual definition for that is declare, say something in a solemn and emphatic manner. What that basically means is that I'm going to just say what I want or need, and I'm going to say it with confidence because I really know what it is, but after that, I'm just going to declare it. I'm not going to go ahead and actually tell you what to do. That's the whole meaning of declarative, to declare something. But let's look at a non-technical example. And the best one I personally look at it is from a drive-through process because it just makes sense. Step number one is I'm going to go now to one of my favorite coffee shops and go through the drive-through. And I'm going to pick up a latte, a cinnamon dolce latte, which is the one I like. So when I go there, after I've declared what I'm going to get, I also make a condition. I just say, hey, I'm just want a half and half milk because that's the one that honestly sits well with me. And then finally, I go ahead and pay for it and then pick it up. That's just me going through a declarative process, which in this case is just a coffee shop. So I tell the coffee shop what I want, and then they are the ones who decide what is the best and the fastest approach to prepare it for me. That is declarative. Now let's switch gears and look at it from an imperative standpoint. What imperative means is something of vital importance and crucial. That's the definition of it. Basically, it is giving an authoritative command. So from imperative, when we go ahead and look at an example, a good one is actually a salad bar, because here's the process for a salad bar. If you actually think about it, step number one is for me to decide what are the veggies I want. Tomatoes, cabbage, broccoli, these are the different veggies that I prefer. Step number two is if I want any crunchies along with it. Roasted nuts, dried nuts, cranberries, those are some examples. Step number three, what are the cheese that I like to get to add that flavor? Oof, Parmesan, goat, blue. And then also add some dressing. There's different types of dressings, vinaigrette, ranch. And then after that, I just go and pay for it. But if you've noticed over here from the imperative standpoint, it is a salad bar. So it does take a little bit of time for me. So from the imperative one, I serve myself. I decide what order to go in and take the required time to complete the serving. See the difference now that it is me who is making a lot of the decision making from an imperative standpoint because it's a salad bar. I got to go in and pick and choose what order I want to serve. So you understand that? So when we look at the two from a side-to-side base, these are basically it, is that it is now telling, from declarative, I have to tell the person who's serving me what I want, and then they just take care of it. Imperative is I'm serving myself, and therefore a little additional steps are added. So is this kind of starting to make sense now? Because let's look at it from a technical standpoint. From declarative, the logic is automatic, and it is performed as value changes. Very good example are Excel files. Imperative is the logic is very event-driven and is executed once for every event. Remember that salad bar I talked about is we start and go through a very specific process. In declarative, it pulls the changes. Basically, when I went and put in the order, the people who are serving order for the coffee, the people who are serving me, they go ahead and pull everything together to make the coffee that I want. Imperative is I have to push the changes. Literally, I have to push myself to go ahead and serve all the items from the salad bar. Declarative, defined data flows and dependencies between each values. Again, the half and half milk, well, that is dependent also on what type of coffee that I ordered. So there's dependency over there. Imperative, it's defined step number one, step number two, step number three. Again, remember that salad bar example that I talked about is I wanted all the veggies and then all the way up to the dressing. These are all the 4 steps over there. But examples are great. From declarative, Excel and SQL, very good examples in the real world. But imperative, again, Java and Python are great resources, but they completely work from an imperative standpoint. So ultimately, it's a journey. And I really like the way this was announced by Greg. He's actually one of the principal program managers at the architect level for Power Platform. All those formulas you see, this guy and his team is the brains behind it. And the statement really makes a great sense. It says, we have a journey ahead of us, what we believe will result in better and easier to write apps. But to get there, we have some old patterns to unclean and some new patterns to establish. And a great example for that is the one we actually use all the time on the app OnStart. Is on the app OnStart, many a times, if you want to do a one-time pull to get some data and put it into your collection, well, then we go ahead and do a collect or a clear collect. And then you can, based on that, after we got the data, we can do what's called an if function, and we go ahead and navigate. All of this thing is done on the app OnStart. However, now there is a new process. First of all, this is something that we need to be aware of, so it's kind of important. The process, which was all to go ahead and do everything on the app OnStart, is actually now divided into two other things, specifically the navigate function. And I'll show you a definition, example of that in just a minute. What happened is now the app, the navigate will just no longer work in the app OnStart. Specifically, now there's a different function over there. And actually, there's a different property, and in the property, it will go ahead and now only work on the start screen. But this is a great example of how we want to go ahead and now start thinking of it from a declarative standpoint and look at it on how we can improve it and make it. And this is a great example. So let's switch gears, look at it from the Power Platform, and I mean specifically the Power Apps Canvas, and see what that changes. So here we are in the Power Apps Canvas Studio, and it has two screens. But you can see there's something on the app OnStart, specifically on the tree view. It's on the app, and then I'm looking at the OnStart property. And on the OnStart property, I have two formulas, which is something we've been doing for quite some time now. One of them is I have a data source where the data source has a table, and the table has only a few rows or lines. And so I'm just going to go and pull that and do a clear collect, save it on the local collection. That's my first one. Very simple, very straightforward. We've been doing this for years now. Next, I'm also going and saying who's the user logged in. If the email address of the user or the account of the user matches a certain criteria, automatically navigate over to a different screen, which is in this case the admin screen. Simple, really straightforward. But if I look at the top right, I have an error now in the app checker. And if I go take a look at the error, it's actually saying it's a formula error. And now it's telling me navigate is not permitted in OnStart. It's like, okay, so that's a little different. And if I actually come back to the formula and if I click on it, I get that squiggly line right over here under the navigate section. So what's happening over here? This is the actual way, the journey that I just talked about is now to start thinking from a declarative standpoint. Because this has been one of the things that we've been imperatively telling Power Apps is that, hey, I am telling you, follow these steps to switch over to another screen. And we don't need to do this anymore. Why? Is because from imperative, we need to start thinking about it from a declarative standpoint. So we need to now take this navigate type of function and switch it over from the OnStart property over to the start screen. So let's do that, all right? I'm going to come over here to the formula bar. I'm going to highlight the whole thing. I'm going to copy it. I'll just delete this piece off. Let's go back now to my OnStart. We'll click on the start screen property. I'll paste it and see what happens. Well, I got a full error over here. Well, let's actually see what the error is because I think I know where it is going. Now that we are in the start screen property, we don't need to use that navigate function anymore. What we can do is then actually remove this entire navigate piece off, get that out. In fact, I don't even need to tell them of any screen transition format. I'll just go and close it and it just works because it made it that easier. You see the formula actually went and became a little bit more concise, a little bit more smaller. And that's the whole thing, is that we went and now started using the declarative property where I'm just declaring to Power Apps that, hey, in your start screen property, I'm going to now just tell you that if the user is here, switch over to that screen. You decide how you want to make it work. Now, I know sometimes it almost sounds like the exact same thing is going on. We just had to change a little bit of syntax, and then we had to switch it to a different property. So some of you may be thinking that, Daniel, honestly, I'm not seeing a whole big of change over here. And my response to that is don't think too much into this because what's happening is all of this is happening in the back. In the back, when we switched over, the moment we switched it from the OnStart and switched over to the start screen, even though the formula almost looked the same, we have now taken the first step in the right direction to actually start using declarative function. And that's basically what's happening over here. You've actually made a huge big change by simply copying that code from the OnStart and switching it over here to the start screen. You are now starting to use the declarative way, which actually is the right way. So now we have a good understanding of, first of all, what is this imperative and declarative, and we also have a good understanding of how it applies to Power FX in Power Apps Canvas. So my recommendation is start getting used to that. First thing is prepare for this app OnStart. If you've gone ahead and used the navigate function in your app OnStart, more than likely it is going to break. Switch that over to the start screen and everything will be good and rosy again. And then keep up with this declarative because it's a journey process. They're going to start releasing that little by little in small bits and small amounts, but it's really the correct step in the right direction, and we just got to get used to that. All right, so hopefully this was helpful, and as always, keep using Power Apps. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube video. Remember, this is all free with fresh content that is updated on a weekly basis. So if you've already subscribed to my channel, thank you and spread the word. If you haven't already, subscribe, click on the bell notification, and let the learning begin.